That sun is really bright. So today is going to be a hodgepodge kind of day, and I'm going to be doing several things. So I just thought I would take you with me. I'm going to be doing several things. I've got several things to plant. I've got tomatoes to take care of. I have them out here right now. Can't see a thing. See them behind me there? I moved them from the greenhouse out into the direct sunlight so I can start the hardening off process for those. Let me turn the camera around. I've got several things already growing. These are some brassicas right in here. I've got some onions right there beside of them. I have some black nebula carrots growing beside of those. And right in here I have some carrots that I've tried to start with seed. Some of them are growing. Get a little closer up. They're super hard to see. There's one. So some are growing, some are not. They're not getting big very fast. And then here's some that I started from seed in the house. Here are some more brassicas that seem to be stunted. I'm not sure what's going on with them. Hopefully they'll pick up here pretty soon. I've got some blackberries. This will be the first time they've produced for me, and I'm so excited because they have little buds everywhere. That is so exciting. That's my raspberry bush. Oh, and I've got that blue shelling pea, I think is what it's called. I have some golden beets growing right there. Right here is the start of my petite gris de red melon. That's another pea. That is two different basils that I planted. The blue spice and the regular. The blue spice is fine. The other one is dead. I'll have to replace that. A couple more brassicas. Some of them I don't know what they are because the label faded out pretty quick. But when they start to produce, we'll figure it out. Those are other melons. I think those are the Kajari melon. I've got more onions there behind that. These are called banana melons. Those are just starting to pop up. And I have several different lettuces. Here's one of the things that I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be planting this double gold yellow raspberry. I'm so excited about that. I love getting new stuff. So I don't know if it will produce the first year or not. We will soon find out. And you can see it's got a little something growing already. So I'm going to find a spot for that today. Let's see. I'll show you this grape really quick. This is my Nimrod grape that grew last year. It did not give me anything last year. So I need to trim this thing up. But hopefully it'll give me something this year, produce something. I've got a couple different apple trees. That one has already bloomed. Let's go see if it's got anything on it. Well, the blooms have pretty much already spent, so it'll be a few more days before we see if we get any apples from that. And then it will take them the majority of the summer to develop, but I'm excited about it. Now, over here on the other side of the greenhouse, I've got some strawberries. I also have some strawberries growing inside the greenhouse. So most of them are starting to green up a little bit now. Over here are some more lettuces. Here is another one of my grapes. See some green on that. Starting. There was some that had started here kind of early on, and when we got a cold snap, it zapped it. And over here I have some other beets. These are different kinds. These are the bull's blood, I think. Anyway, these are red ones, and the other ones are the golden ones. And then I've got some Chioggia beets. I don't know if it's in with these or in with the golden beets, but they are striped beets. They have circles of red and white in them, and they're really beautiful. So one of the first things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trimming off the spent stems from the tulips and the daffodils so that all the energy can be concentrated back into the bulb for next year's blooms. Okay, got that done. Now we're going to move on over here and we are going to trim some onions. I don't let my onions get much taller than about 4 inches. And you can see those are already starting to get above that, so we're going to trim those. Okay, well, the video didn't come on. I just went down through there and trimmed them all. And that just keeps them healthy. It keeps them from getting top heavy and falling over. And whenever something falls over and touches the dirt, it tends to be more susceptible to disease. So that's all there is to that. Moving on to the next thing. Time for a little sunbathing, apparently. I missed the memo. I'm glad some of us have time for that. This little wooden box here is eventually going to be my herb box, and I'm going to hang it up on the fence. But for now, right here's where we're at. So I am going to trim down the thyme because it's got some dead stuff on it from last year and encourage new growth. Okay, so most of what I trimmed off of the thyme was dead on the back side of it. And I did trim some of the new growth, but I'm going to dry that out and use it. Here's my chives. This will be a quick fix. That's it. I've had all the tomatoes out here this morning trying to get these hardened off. That just means introducing them to the direct sunlight instead of the protected light of a greenhouse or grow lights indoors. So I'm going to be putting these back in the greenhouse. They've been out here for a couple hours, and that's probably pushing it just a little bit. So I'm going to get this back in the greenhouse. Now this whole area is on the right side of the greenhouse. There's the greenhouse. Here is the right side of the greenhouse. Now all of this is getting ready to get a makeover. So this little circle of stuff right here, this was here when we first moved here. That little thorny mess right there is a rose bush. That was there when we first moved in here. And it does not look like it's doing too well, so I'm probably going to pull that out. Like I said, this is getting ready to be redone anyway. I'm going to finally do something with all of these blocks that I purchased last year. My husband will be glad to hear that. So this area right here where you see this little green pole, that is a grape. And over on the other side is another grape, that little green pole. And then I've got these 2 removable pots right here. So I am going to remove those, and I'm just going to make this little area right here a little grapevine line. So I've got more grapes to plant, and there's 2 already there. So I'm just going to make that a little area just for grapes. And then I'm going to put these blocks over on the left side of this bed and put the arbor going the other direction. And that will provide shade on the left side of this box. It'll provide a little more shade for some of the plants that are not quite as heat tolerant as others, like lettuces and greens and that type of thing. So I hope to get some of that done today. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be planting this little double gold yellow raspberry plant. And I'm just going to put it in a pot. And a couple reasons I'm doing that is, number one, because I'm not sure where I put it now is where I want to keep it. I don't have everything fixed over here the exact way that I want it, so I'm going to put it in this pot for that reason. And another reason is because they really love to spread out and go wherever they want, and I like my stuff contained because I may not want it wherever it wants to go. So anyway, I'm going to put it in this big pot for now. This is going to be plenty big enough for it to have all the nutrients that it needs. And that way, if I decide to move it later, I can. And I can also partially bury this pot so that in the winter, it will be protected. Or I could also put it in the greenhouse where it would be protected. So either way, it's a win-win for me. So here we go. Now, because this is such a big pot, I'm going to start off with some sticks and twigs out of this pile that I've got. And I'm going to put in the bottom to take up a lot of room to save money on dirt. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but dirt is expensive. So here we go. Okay, let me take a real quick break. I am going to go across town and pick up my grandkids so I can have some reinforcements. So I always start these videos off worrying about what I look like when I do not know why, because I always end up looking like this, sweaty, filthy, dirty. So anyway, it's still a lot of fun. I don't mind. So I'm going to run and get my grandkids, take a little break while I'm riding in the car, then come back and we'll get started again with some reinforcements. So right here beside of the greenhouse is where I want it for now. So we're going to finish filling it up with some dirt. Now I'm going to make a hole the size of the pot, and then I'm just going to set it over in there. Actually a little bigger than the pot, not the same size. About right. You can really see some good root development there, so that's a good sign. Now I'm going to put a little bit of mulch on the top and I'll be finished. So this mulch is going to really help hold the moisture in. Help retard weed growth. And as mulch decomposes, it can also help to feed the plants that you have. That's it. Now we're going to go over here and plant some lettuce and some cucumbers. It's probably a little early for cucumbers, but I have a bunch, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get some started. I've looked at the forecast, and there is one night that it's going to get pretty chilly, and it was 38, I think, is what it was predicting to go down to. So I think the cucumber will be okay in 38 degrees. I hope so, because it's getting planted. Here we go. Okay, well, I forgot to turn it on, I guess. Well, I thought I turned it on. I didn't forget. I thought I turned it on. Must have missed the button. So I've already got three heads of lettuce in. Getting ready to put these cucumbers in. Now, this is actually 2 separate plants. I think I'm just going to leave them together in this ball, though, to disturb the roots a little less. And I'm just going to plant them right under the trellis, so they'll go right up it. Wow. This was more than ready to be planted. Look at that root ball. This is the green dragon burpless. Oh, I've got one more lettuce. Actually, that's a type of green. It's called a Komatsuna, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a green. And just a side note here, I always use mulch around all of my plants to help hold in moisture. It is so much better for them. Okay. Now I've also got a couple flowers that's going to go in this bed. I've got a marigold, and I done forgot what this is called. Nasturtium. I've got some nasturtium and some zinnias. I'm going to go right there. Now I'm going to go over here and put some flowers in the raised bed that's beside of the in-ground garden, which also did not get recorded, but that is okay. We're going to keep going anyway. Okay, now I've made just a little change in plans. I thought I would go ahead and get this herb box hung up while I had a little bit of help. It might be questionable, the help that I have, but it's help nonetheless. I'm just kidding. These two are great help, and I enjoy every minute of it. They are so funny.
I can just use my nutrient and lift it up.
Look who I finally talked into mowing for me. So while I've got some help, I'm going to get off of this camera and get some things done. I thank you all for joining me on this beautiful day for some hodgepodge kind of gardening. Have a great day and God bless you.